they say wherever a woman is, there is magic.
And we have been serving magic every Wednesday on Wake Up Nigeria for quite a while now.
Now, but a bigger celebration of ourselves and all the women all over the world, we say Happy International Women's Day.
I was going to say Women's Week, or Women's Month. In fact, Women's Year.
Yeah.
It's our year, people. Strong women, we may know them, we raise them, and we may be them.
And of course, still with our celebrating, you guys know I got my ego, you both, my Assam pet set. One and only and Chef Blossom in the kitchen. Good morning, ladies.
Hey.
Good morning.
Hi, Tokwe.
Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day to you. I think we're just seeing each other this week for the
we're
first
just seeing each other this week, so it's not too late. We're still in the spirit.
Yes,
air hugs, air hugs.
Virtual hugs.
Ladies, who run the world?
Girls!
Yes, so, and we are about to get things rolling. It will roll for about 1 hour, 45 minutes.
Now, we know you have plans to stick with us through it, and at this point, I'm going to say an excellent morning to you, and welcome to the One Stop Family Breakfast Show. My name is Tokwe Oloniyo.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinson. Now, we're streaming the show live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect. You can always connect with us. You know, shout out to us. We need those shout outs. Send them via comment on our social media handles as soon as you can. Just use at TVC Connect and the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC.
Of course. Now, remember, you can play catch up if you're busy throughout the week. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, TVC Entertainment. You can go binge watch your favorite episodes, your favorite segments, and get the entire week's experience.
We kick things off today. We're discussing about our bodies.
Ooh,
we have nutritionist Ifewa Emesiete. Now, she's a pediatric nutritional consultant, and she's going to be talking about the right way to wean babies to solids. Wean babies to solids.
And then we will move on to a conversation on relationship with Aremo Oluwatobi, a relationship and life coach. He will be letting us know if polygamy is natural or a choice. I want to know that.
That's a question. That picture says a lot, doesn't it? Now, we also have a performance coming your way today. We have one of the vocal coaches in Nigeria, a unique gospel artist, Naomi Classic. Now, her debut album, All About Jesus, has attracted a lot of international recognition and contains soul-transforming songs.
And joining us for a virtual discussion on women and their participation in the tech industry is founder, CyberSafe Foundation, Confidence Stavely.
Who run the world?
Titi can never get over this.
It's International Women's Week. Like, it's literally our week. We get away with a lot of stuff in a week like this.
Yeah, talking about getting away with stuff, we actually had an amazing 8th of March on Monday.
On Monday, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun day here at the TVC Communications, And then, we launched the Women's Network, so it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And there was so much to go home with. You missed that.
I joined virtually.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't be here, but I was here virtually.
Oh, okay.
The goodies we carried home were very important. And loads of ice cream, loads of things.
Wow, Titi, I thought you were on a diet.
No.
Was she?
On International Women's Day, I'm not on a diet. I appreciate.
You do not want to die yet.
No, I do not. But a big shout out to all the companies, sponsors that came on board with the company just for that particular day. We had a lot of great speakers as well.
Yeah, I did see that as well.
A lot to learn and a lot that we can actually achieve from each other. You know, so I think it's important that we always mention and encourage ourselves to be the best that we can be.
Yeah, and then on Coffee Gist, actually later on, we're going to be talking about women supporting women. Is it a myth or fact? Do we really support each other?
Not everybody, not every woman supports another woman. I mean, some women support women, and some do public support, but personal. Exactly.
Anyways, we'll carry on with that discussion later on. But then, talking about interesting things that happened
Tell me.
in the last 24 hours is Piers Morgan. He's been trending. So for those of you who do not know, he's a popular UK broadcaster. And anyway, we'll give you the gist later on. Right now, we need to go for the weather. Let's know what the weather is about today.
It's about time for us to take a news update right here on Wake Up Nigeria. And we begin this hour with the revelation from a senior official of the Nigeria Customs Service, who yesterday explained that operatives of the service offered bandits bags of seized rice to save themselves from the criminals. This revelation has further revealed the rising spate of insecurity in the country. Controller Aliyu Mohammed, who is the coordinator of the Sector 4 Command of the Joint Border Control team in the Northwest, narrated how the incident occurred during a press briefing in Katsina State. He told reporters that the operatives had to offer 7 bags of rice to the bandits, who he said were operating in Dutsinma local government area of the state.
The other time we came out of challenges, we still have the same problem challenges. That the people that we are working for are not supporting us. We are not working for only custom. We are working for the nation. And we are working for you people. I sacrificed my life to go to Dutsinma, to enter the bush where the bandits are. If I tell you last time we have encounter with them, to the extent that they are a little bit friendly with us. We seized 37 bags of rice. They say, okay, if we are to go, they have to take 7 bags. We give them 7 bags to save our life. So you see the risk I took. Secondly, look at how I save your life. You take your first thing without telling you this thing is expired. You don't know. You just go to the supermarket and buy. So the challenge we have is that the people we are working for are not supporting us.
Away from security matters now, Yobe State Governor Mai Malabuni and his Plateau State counterpart Simon Lalong, with 4 ministers, have flagged off a $3.2 billion Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway project in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. The groundbreaking ceremony marks the commencement of the implementation of another important national infrastructure, which consists of 3 projects: the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri Narrow Gauge Railway Reconstruction Project, with new branch lines to Owerri, Imo State, and Damaturu, Yobe State. The second and third projects are the Bonny Deep Sea Port and Railway Industrial Park, are to be constructed through direct investments by Chinese partners and international financing agencies. And now to our global coverage of the coronavirus pandemic. In Lagos, the state government says it has received doses of OXFORD-ASTRAZENECA vaccines from the federal government. Governor Sanwo-Olu made this known while speaking at the 2021 International Women's Day celebration organized by the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Mr. Sanwo-Olu says the state government received the vaccines at 4 a.m., noting that the vaccines have been kept in a safe place. The incident commander also implored Lagosians to continue to observe all COVID-19 protocols.
I want to encourage, like the First Lady said, all of us to continue to observe all of the non-pharmaceutical protocols of the COVID-19. As yes, we are flattening it, but it's still very much with us. And I want to use this opportunity to announce that at about 4 a.m. today, Lagos State received our own consignment of the vaccine. And so it's in our custody. And so we are working out a clear strategy with the federal government, the National Primary Health.
Just like Lagos, the ONDO state government has also received doses of OXFORD-ASTRAZENECA COVID-19 vaccines from the federal government. The vaccine was delivered through Akure Airport and received by officials of the ONDO State Primary Health Care Development Agency on behalf of the state government. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu is expected to flag off vaccination in Akure, the state capital. KWARA received COVID-19 vaccines as well. The story is the same in KWARA State, where the vaccine arrived earlier. The Executive Secretary of the State Primary Health Care Services, Dr. Nuzirat Elelu, received the consignment on behalf of the state government at the Ilorin airport. She disclosed that Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak is expected to flag off the vaccination, while frontline workers will be given priority during the vaccination process. Borno State government has also taken delivery of doses of the OXFORD-ASTRAZENECA COVID-19 vaccine from the federal government. The consignment arrived at Maiduguri International Airport around 9 p.m. yesterday. The state deputy governor, Umar Usman Kadafur, alongside the acting commissioner of health, the state director of primary health services, and officials of the WHO, received the vaccine. According to the state deputy governor, the state received 75,510 doses of the vaccine. He notes that the state government is expected to flag off the vaccination soon.
Wait, let me give you one fact finder. Did you know
What?
that her name is MM?
I didn't even know.
Were you aware?
Were you aware?
That is Tokpe.
Oh, nice one. You got me.
No, but we started talking about something earlier.
Yes, so yeah, Piers Morgan. So for those of you who do not know, he is a popular UK broadcaster.
A veteran broadcaster.
A veteran, actually.
Writer.
He's also worked in CNN as well. Yeah, he's actually a lot of things. But he's mostly known for being controversial, actually. And
then
so
now I know
he's
him
been...
as the guy that Meghan Markle dumped.
So the thing is, they were not
really
dumped.
happened,
Exactly.
really, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just a case of a guy being smitten and probably obsessed with Meghan, because he's been, since she got in. Okay, let me give you the backstory. Yeah. So he met with. Oh, sorry. After exchanging pleasantries on social media, they decided to have a first meet, and then they met, and they had a good time together.
Like you were there, but okay.
Listen, calm down. I'm giving you this gist. Then they had a dinner date. It was all nice. They had fun together. They talked. I mean, they opened up about each other. This is from Ogao. This is from Piers Morgan. And then afterwards, after the dinner was over, he flagged a cab. Unknown to him, she moved on.
Yes.
So the future that is now. That was where she now met Prince Harry. So they both met each other actually on the first day.
Wow.
And that was how, well, you all know the story. Exactly. So after that, apparently, Piers Morgan has not stopped trolling Meghan Markle since the inception of their engagement, even to now. Anyways, on their show yesterday, a fellow presenter on the same show lashed at him that, you know what, you need to get over Meghan.
Yeah.
You have constantly trolled this lady. I mean, it's time that you moved on. Yes, she cut you off after your,
after it didn't work.
Exactly, after it didn't work.
No, it even starts.
She's entitled to cut you off. You don't go on air saying that, because she talked about having suicidal thoughts, and Piers Morgan on his show said that he didn't believe her. And you won't believe that they actually got a no. You can't say that. They got about 41,000 complaints after he made that statement, which was a bad, which reflected badly on the show and even on the station as well, because you don't go saying that kind of thing. And even a lot of mental health experts have come forward to say a lot of things regarding that statement, that you don't say that. And then anyway, his fellow presenters lashed on it and actually told him a few bitter truths. I will call them bitter truths. And he couldn't take it, and he walked off a live set.
He needs a hug.
So now, I'm not really his biggest fan. I think he talks out of both sides of his mouth. Whatever is trendy, he jumps on it and finds some controversial way to trend all over it. But hey, it's well in his right. It's his own Twitter handle. It's his mouth. And I thought he had a lot more standing in the station he was in. Before he would just get up and resign like that. I'm like, hello. Yeah, I think he does need to move on.
I think that people in the public space need to understand that when you decide to put your life in the public space, you now have to be accountable to people because you hold a position where people are focusing on you. So you can't just go being in your feelings. But moving on, I was so excited about Oprah and Meghan having that interview, which brings us to
women supporting women.
Women supporting women. Yeah. The actual women supporting women versus the surface level women supporting women.
But do you really think women support women? Actually?
That's why I said there's the actual and the
so the thing is, being a woman is so many things. It's a package on its own. And not everybody is a complete package as a woman. I cannot claim to be a complete package.
Nobody is a complete package.
And if you're asking women to support women, you're literally saying all women should support every aspect of that person just because
No.
So, okay. In the same vein, are you a woman that is worth supporting? That's the question.
There's always a part of you that is worth supporting.
Yeah, but the thing is, there are some women who have come forward with questionable sources of wealth, questionable ideals.
What makes it questionable?
And other women are just expected to support them just because they're women. So
what makes it questionable?
She actually just brought something, resonated something, you know, what you just said about, you know, women having questionable sources of wealth.
Because men also have questionable sources of wealth.
So, but it's really appalling because women, we are the ones to call out the women, the successful women, for having to sleep their way to the top. And it's quite...
You don't even have it to
that
sleep
is
their
an
way.
example of women not supporting women.
When a woman gets to the top, the next question is, who did she sleep with?
Okay.
They never, not never, but they rarely actually attribute it to hard work.
Achievements.
Yes, they rarely
So when I ask the question, are you a woman worth supporting? What are your ideals? What are your goals?
But not everybody they get ideals.
I'm saying, that's the thing. So I'm very picky about the women that I actually choose to support.
Okay.
That's just me. Because there are some women that, as I said, have some questionable things in their background.
Anyway,
don't change.
Yeah, we have to quickly
wants
move
to
on.
change
We have to quickly move on.
We're going to pick this conversation up on social media. Before I take it to personal. But please drop your comments on social media. Let's know what you think. TVC Connect on Facebook, #WakeUpNigeria. We will be right back. Welcome to the kitchen, people. I am so excited to be here today, still on International Women's Week, and I have with me Chef Blossom.
Hi,
You're going to blossom a breakfast for us this morning. Yes. How are you doing?
Very well.
And before we came live, I was trying to guess what we're going to prepare. And you know the case of when something is staring at you in the face and you still miss it? That was what happened. But we're preparing coconut rice this morning. And let's run through our ingredients. We have short grain rice, like you said.
Yes.
And this is
washed.
Washed already. Okay,
yes.
So is this chicken stock?
Broth, yes.
Broth. Is it this one? This one?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then we have coconut milk. Right?
Yes,
and
chopped carrots.
Chopped carrots and sweet corn, then fried, shredded fried chicken,
yes.
Green bell pepper, onions, soy sauce. Now let me feel like a chef. So here we have curry, we have salt,
yes.
We have Cameroon pepper,
yes.
White pepper.
Yes.
And then seasoning cube.
Seasoning cube.
Forget.
Nice.
Let's close. Let's go home. Let's go home. And then of course we have vegetable oil, right?
Right, yes.
Okay. So what are we starting with? Now, why did you wash the rice though?
For coconut rice, I like to have my rice grainy.
Grainy, okay.
Some persons want the rice to be like soggy and soft. So I like to have it grainy, like I said. So I washed with salt.
Okay.
Like a little bit of salt, and I'm also gonna parboil still.
So you parboil and wash
and
again.
Wash again.
Okay.
Then after that, I'll still saute with oil.
Saute. Alrighty. So we're gonna put that on fire.
Yes.
So what are we doing next? Right after that.
I think I'll just go straight to making my veggies. So we'll just have it ready.
Okay. So now I want to talk about this coconut milk because times I have tried to make coconut rice and I use the tinned coconut milk. I don't always get
the same flavor. Yes.
So what's an alternative to achieving it, or do I just keep pouring plenty coconut milk?
No. I think you should just do the fresh one.
The fresh.
Just break
was this fresh or this is the milk?
This is the milk. The tin one.
Okay. But you know this thing about chefs, when people do it, you guys just do it different. Like no matter how we try. That's why we should hire you guys. Okay.
Yes.
To see you, yes.
So the I think
The milk?
Yes, the milk, they preserve it already, so you don't really get that actual fresh taste.
Okay, so now let's quickly run through the menu. If you want to prepare this at home, we have carrot, onion, soy sauce, seasoning cubes, sweet corn, coconut mix, curry powder, green pepper, chicken broth, red bell pepper. And you can add as much other ingredients as you want,
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
Because I think it depends on you.
Your preference.
Your preference,
And
yeah. But
I was going to say, for short, some persons want to ask why I'm using short grain.
yes,
I like to use short grain because it gives it this natural feel.
natural feel,
Yes,
okay.
coconut rice is more like one of our indigenous local foods.
Foods, yeah.
You get. So I think the short grain will go
Short grain
for
will
it,
go.
and it comes out very well. Since you have your, it just goes well for it.
For it, yeah? Okay, so what else can we put? Because I like this. This is something that you can create or you
Yes,
can
it's
prepare
simple
from the
and
things
it's-
you have at home.
yes.
You don't necessarily have to go to the market,
Oh,
maybe to buy.
yes.
But if you have fresh coconuts at home, you can still, prepare this at
yes.
home. Maybe just sweet corn.
Then you peel the back of the coconut.
Yeah.
Like when you break,
Oh,
when you
wow,
break
wow,
the
wow.
coconuts, make sure you peel the back, because if you don't get that, you can't achieve this white.
You can achieve it, okay.
Yes, because your milk will be browny, and it might
Okay.
be like
Coarse? It might have chaff.
Might be bitter.
Oh, bitter.
Yes, it might be bitter in your meal.
Okay.
So you just have
You might
the
wanna
peel the
definitely-
back, blend, and just have the pure milk like that.
Okay. So now, what are we doing next?
So we're waiting for this.
We're going to wait for
us
that
heat
to
up.
boil. Okay,
Yes.
so we're going to have to give our food some time, but has a guest on the sofa, so let's know what we're talking about. is all yours.
And on that note, Tope, let's talk nutrition. And today on the show joining us is Ifeyiwa Omesete. She's a pediatric nutritionist, and she'll be discussing the right way to wean babies to solids. Hey, hey, hey,
Hi,
good morning.
good morning.
It's always a pleasure having you join us. Now, explain to us, what is weaning? I mean, it is a natural stage in every baby's development,
Yeah.
but we need to understand what it is.
Okay, so weaning essentially is just moving from one phase of food to another. So in the
Okay.
case of babies, you'd be moving from like a liquid diet to a solid diet or a semi-solid diet.
Okay. It's interesting because I had this conversation with a new mom yesterday, and she was all up in her feelings about how she's finding it difficult to, wean her baby to that transition. At what point in a baby's life do you begin this weaning process?
So as early as 6 months.
Okay.
Some people will say 4 months, but most babies are ready at 6 months. Now, readiness is not just a physiological thing, but it
Okay.
also has to be a mental thing.
A mental thing for the mother or for the baby?
Both people.
Okay.
You have to be mentally ready for the journey, and you also have to prepare the baby mentally for the journey as well.
Okay.
Because if you really think about it, they've been on liquids for
All their lives. Yeah.
And so you want to transition them to
Yeah.
something else. You have to be patient. You must expect resistance. So most parents just assume that, oh, okay, you're just going to take whatever I give you.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Okay. How do you know when that baby is ready? Because for some babies, it happens naturally. And then for some babies, you have to forcefully, you have to force them. How do you know when that baby is ready? And do you also advise forcing? Because, I mean, for some mothers, that's like their option, basically.
Right. So I would say this in two ways. I wouldn't advise pushing the child to wean.
Okay.
But I would say that you have to be really patient, you have to be creative, you have to be consistent, and you have to be persistent.
Okay.
Most of us are very impatient with these little ones. And so you have to think of creative ways to come up with the meals. You also have to remember that it's not about the quantity that you're offering, but about the quality of what you're offering.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
So you have to always say to yourself, okay, we had 1 spoon here, 2 spoons here, that's fine. Moving on to another 3 spoons here, 4 spoons here. Today we just wanted milk, that's fine. Because
Okay.
again, you have to remember that babies are human, so they will have moods as well. And sometimes today might just not be a good day to eat something.
Okay.
Other ways of readiness would include the child sitting up on their own, unsupported, being able to grab things. And then the most important is something we call loss of thrust reflex. Essentially what that means is when a child is breastfeeding or taking formula, they are sucking, they're not swallowing. So when you lose the thrust reflex, it shows that you can swallow now. And the only way to show that is by using a spoon and a bowl. When you use a bottle, the child is lazy, and so they don't take the solids properly.
Okay. What are the first kind of foods that you would, introduce to a baby?
Pretty much anything.
Okay, pretty much anything?
Well,
like semo?
Yes,
Oh,
actually.
really? Wow.
They can have semo, they can have amala, they can have rice, they can have potatoes, they can have yam. The focus, again, like I mentioned, should be on the quality of what you're offering.
Okay.
And then, of course, making it palatable for the person you're feeding. So,
Okay.
of course, it can't be like fried or, deep fried or something like that, but at least like a semi-solids to start, good textures that the child will appreciate, avoiding things like honey. And avoiding
honey.
salt.
Okay.
Yes. Excessive seasonings because their kidneys and livers can't take it just yet.
Yeah.
And then just playing around with, flavors in terms of your vegetables, your fruits. You don't want to overdo too many things, so I always advise nothing more than 3 or 4 ingredients altogether.
Okay.
And this includes their breast milk or formula in addition to the meal that you're preparing.
Okay, please, let's go back a little bit. Are you saying that you would infuse the breast milk into the meals?
Exactly. So there's this myth that when you transition, you're supposed to transition into formula. That's not realistic. You can actually maintain only offering breast milk in addition to the solids you're offering the child as well. Because it contains the same ingredients and still offers the same amount of nutrition that the child was getting even in the first 6 months of life.
Wow. This is quite interesting. I mean, like, are you joking? Okay, so for mothers who, who's having difficulty, going through that transition with the child, what advice do you have for them? Because, I mean, okay, a baby's 6 months. Let me put myself in as a case study here. If I have a child who's over 6 months, and I expect that, okay, by now you should start taking solids, and there is like, no, I don't want to yet. Is that a cause for worry?
I wouldn't say that there's a cause for worry because, like I mentioned before, the child doesn't actually know that they don't want it. What you need to be focusing on is trying to figure out who this child is in terms of the solids you're offering.
Okay.
For example, there are some children who absolutely hate anything that's sweet. However, that's like the first immediate focus for most parents. Oh, it has to be sweet. I've got to sweeten it somehow. I've got to add some kind of sweetener to it. Meanwhile, your child might actually just want things very bland. Sometimes it might be the temperature, it might be too warm, right? They want it cool. I remember, I think a patient a couple years ago, the biggest struggle the mom was having was she was always making sure the food was hot. And the little boy wanted it to be in the fridge just before he had his meal.
Wow.
So sometimes that's the difference between your struggle and your success.
So as a mother, you have to be very intentional and you have to be very observant with your child.
Exactly.
Interesting. Now, let's talking about diets. What other diets would you suggest? Okay, so you talked about semi-solids, but you have to help us break it down to what kinds of semi-solids and how it can be prepared so that women just watching right now don't think, oh, so they said semo, let me go and make semo now and then start to, then force it into the child's mouth. So explain that process. Like, how do you, So, for example, semo, how do you prepare it, to make it palatable for the child?
I would say be as close to the ground as possible. What I mean, be as natural as possible with whatever you're offering the child.
Okay.
So if you're doing something like semo right now, you want to make sure that it's not pre-packaged. You want to make sure that you're getting it from a good source.
Okay.
And you also want to make sure that you're using clean water, your hands are clean, separate utensils, things like that.
Okay.
And most importantly, prepared in a manner where the child will appreciate the food.
Thank you so much, Ifeanyi. This has been such an insightful conversation, and I'm sure that everyone watching right now learns one or two from this conversation. And of course, it continues on social media at TVC Connect. If you have questions for Ifeanyi, please go ahead and drop them in the comment section. All right, for now, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Now it's about time for us to begin our relationship discussion, as we do every Wednesday. And today we have Aremo Oluwatobi. He's a relationship and life coach. Now he's going to be talking to us about polygamy. Now, is it natural or is it a choice? That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
I feel like the guys out there are waiting for you to you know, either defend them or,
Well,
you know, push them deeper into a hole here.
Well, let's see how this goes.
Let's talk about what polygamy actually is, in your view.
Okay, so there are two ways to look at it.
Okay.
Marriage and in a relationship.
Okay.
So for relationship, polygamy is just a fancy word for double dating and cheating.
Okay.
Okay. For marriage, basically one person, guy, having more than one wife.
Okay.
Married to more than one person.
Okay.
Now, polygamy in marriage is, I think there are some countries that actually legalize it, while it's not legalized in quite a number of other countries. So,
And I think some ethnic groups and some religions.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So,
Okay.
so that's basically the definition for that.
All right. So, why? Okay, I'm wondering where your mindset was going when even bringing forth this topic.
Okay.
I feel like there's probably a couple or a set of people that you've had conversations with who you had to discuss this with. Let us into your mindset.
Okay, so I think I've discovered that quite a number of people, especially with even married people, get stuck in a trap of cheating on their spouses.
Okay.
So for the married people, maybe even graduate into where the other woman gets pregnant, and then the whole family begins to intervene and ask him to marry this other person. Okay, and at times we don't watch how it starts. We don't watch why. How did this happen? So most times we say we chalk it up to different reasons of a guy. For the guys, they say that it's a natural ability for a guy to cheat. That guys are wired to be polygamous. Okay, there's that. Now, there's no scientific proof to that in its sense. Okay, science has not been able to tell us that we are wired for monogamy. It has told us that we are wired for polygamy in its sense of it. Okay, so people are very quick to say that a guy is naturally polygamous. So even when you find yourself nearing things that require cheating, you just go with the flow, with the mindset that I am wired for polygamy, so it's not a big deal. Okay. There are many people who don't value monogamy as in being with one person. People see it as a straitjacket. You know, it just keeps you stuck to one person forever. You know, some guys will say say this to me jokingly, but there are also things that people say for real. Like, how can I give this glorious body to just one person? Okay, so a guy says that, and it's a mindset. So it's expected that kind of person will cheat. That person getting married will most likely also still want to have another wife. Okay, and this conversation is not just for guys only, though it seems that maybe guys are more, when it comes to marriage, okay, they're more involved, but it also applies to women too, as it is. So it's both sides.
All right, so now this issue of it being a choice, you mentioned family and family members rallying around because maybe there's a new child involved. How do we let men know now that it's actually a choice? When they've lived with this family most of their lives, you know, they feel a responsibility to a new child. What's the conversation like then?
So, so one of the major things that even lead to polygamy is mindset. The pattern of mindset that many people have been exposed to. So for a child that is exposed consistently to a mindset that polygamy is right, will most likely end up like that. So we need to first, and with this, I'm hoping that they say, you know, mind shift. Where people see that in the end, polygamy, whether you're married or you're in a relationship, is a choice you chose to make. So for the example you gave, so the person has cheated already, there's not a child in the picture. Pregnancy does not equal to marriage. Because really there's nowhere legally, except when we now begin to talk about maybe religious groups or ethnic groups, there's nowhere that says that because somebody's pregnant for you, you automatically have to marry the person. In fact, that assumption has even led to many dysfunctional families because the man doesn't even like the woman, he's stuck with her. The woman doesn't like the man, but because I'm pregnant. So if the issue is the child, you can actually take responsibility of that child without having to marry the woman if one of you do not want that in itself. So the man knowing that in the end is a choice he has to make for his family, that is the family that he married appropriately, and also for the sake of even that new child, because that new child will grow up to see that his mother and his father are not good. And you're already creating another pattern in the heart of that child. Okay. So it just continues in that cycle, and we keep causing trouble for families, and of course, it spills into society.
Okay, so maybe for someone who's grown up in such a dysfunctional, in quote, family before, how do we begin to explain or value monogamy?
Okay.
What sort of advice would you give someone? Maybe his father had 3 wives and he doesn't see any reason why he shouldn't go down the same path.
Well, okay, so with polygamy, because usually you start with one, then by the time you are going to the next one, there's usually some form of lying
involved,
some form of cover-up, some form of unnecessary edict that you give yourself. So why not save yourself that? That's 1. 2, we need to begin to teach people that being with one person is actually valuable. Okay, many fear that, so some people fear being jilted, at least for those in relationship. Okay. So they decide to have options.
Backup plan.
Backup plan. Okay, they call it, so there are 2 ways people break up. They break up first by either just telling the person, or they secure one, then break up with the other. So that also happens. So people have that backup plan. But, so there's that fear. So people need to know be sincere with themselves. What are the issues I have? If you've had issues of emotional abuse growing up, or you were exposed to any form of abuse, there's a likelihood that this will happen to you. So deal with these things. So most times we run away from the issues we grew up with, thinking they will disappear. Any issue that you do not deal with will not disappear. Until you deal with it, you just find out that you meet somebody, like we were saying last week, about how you just go to the mall and you meet this crush you had from secondary school, and things just happen. Okay? So people need to first make that decision. As long as there's always a choice to cheat, as long as there's always a choice to have another wife, you will most likely use that option. So you need to take that option off the table for yourself first. Then other things can follow. Okay.
So in terms of having those options, there are some people that were sort of told or instructed or guided down that path by trusted third parties. I'm talking about family members now. And then, of course, that responsibility that they feel to their family, it's a really strong one, especially if their first relationship is not working. So I've heard of some cases where we have maybe a marriage that's not been working, and a family encouraging the person to, go outside. Maybe it's not working because of the fact that the person doesn't have a male child. Let's touch on that.
So it's still back to choice. It's because the option is on the table. That's why you're even considering it. So if they bring that kind of option, the family, okay, one, the family has raised you to believe that you have, let me not use that word, you have a level of intelligence to make decisions yourself. Okay. Yeah. So they should be able to trust your decision, and should be able to help them see them, make them believe you to trust your decision. All right. So as long as you let them feel that that option is on the table, you'll most likely use that option.
I have to say a big thank you to you one more time, Mr. Rema, for coming to talk to us. It's a very touchy topic. We'd love to know what you think about it. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC and tag us at TVC Connect with your comments. Talkware is standing by in the kitchen.
Thank you so much, Titi. Welcome back to the kitchen, people. And if you're just joining us, I have Chef Blossom, and she's preparing coconut rice. Now, whilst we're away, we parboiled rice and sauteed. So let's quickly run them through sauteing the rice. So you do that after parboiling.
Yes. Just parboil for, let's say, 3 minutes.
Okay.
And then you put in your vegetable oil. Or for coconut rice, you use your coconut oil. Okay. Or you could use your olive oil. Okay. And then you put in a bit of garlic. Okay. Chopped garlic or shredded. I'm sorry, that's a shredded. Grinded garlic. Yeah. Then you toss in your rice and stir. Okay. You keep stirring so it doesn't get burnt. Okay. So we're trying to achieve a grainy feel.
So that's what sauteing does for rice.
That's what
it's
it
grainy.
does for rice.
So if you're like me, where you're always trying to boil for 1 minute 30 seconds to have grainy rice, this is a great alternative.
Yes.
So this is what you people do that will not be wondering how you guys are fantastic. We've learned. So let's quickly run through the menu again. If you want to quickly scribble it down to try to achieve this at home, we have carrots, onion, soy sauce, seasoning cube, sweet corn, coconut mix, curry powder, green pepper, chicken broth, red bell pepper. Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to put in our...
Oh yeah, let me be useful. So you're going to reduce the fire?
Increase.
Oh, increase.
So we want to cook here, so 1 pot now. So
okay. Around?
Yes.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's okay?
Yes.
All right.
So put in our broth. Use your chicken broth to cook it.
Round again?
Yes.
Okay. Everything?
Yes, everything.
Oh, okay.
So
I have
add in some water.
So you must have chicken broth.
You must.
You must.
And
okay.
then some persons might ask, why not beef stock?
Okay.
Beef stock.
Yeah.
Beef will overpower the taste of the coconut.
Okay, okay, I get you.
So it's best to use chicken
broth. Okay. So you put the milk, the chicken broth, and then water.
Yes.
Okay.
Water to cook, just
water to cook. Oh, okay,
a
so
little bit above the right level.
Okay.
So it doesn't get all soggy. So
it's important that we saute the rice because the coconut milk can actually make it get soggy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do not think of removing the saute. It's important in the cooking process. Okay. So at what point do we put the soy sauce or not yet?
Not yet. Put in the veggies.
In the veggies.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. So we're gonna leave this on fire again.
Yes, to cook.
Okay. So we're gonna leave this for how many minutes? How
Max
many minutes?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay. Well, the first hour on Wake Up Nigeria is up. We're going on a quick break. When we come back, we are top of the hour for the next 45 minutes of top-notch entertainment this morning. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
We are back, and the magic is not quite over yet.
Yes. Now, another thing they say now is that a challenged world is an alert world.
And we have to acknowledge that a lot of grounds have been covered, ensuring that the world is a safer place and, of course, more accepting for women and their very unique capabilities.
Of course. Now, we all have a role to play. And today on Wake Up Nigeria, the ladies are hoping to encourage some women out there to go out there and live their dreams.
Still about 45 minutes to go, and we ask that you stay with us for the whole of it. Just remember, you can always stream the show live at tvcentertainment.tv or on Facebook at TVC Connect. And connect with MM in the kitchen while she looks all glam with our chef.
Yes, yes, yes. Our coconut rice is still cooking. Right now, just in case you're wondering what's going on over there, the foil paper is to make sure that rice steams up pretty quickly. Yes. The sun has come.
To
and she's doing it again.
To blossom us to breakfast. Now, remember that you can be part of the conversation. We've been talking about so much in the first hour. Remember to send in your comments. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC, on Facebook at TVC Connect, and on Twitter. We want to know what you think. My name is Tokwe Oloniyo.
And I'm Titilaya Onyison. Please join us virtually for a discussion that will be coming up very soon. There's also a very interesting package you need to see.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yes. So,
you know, the first time I ate that was NYSC. I just... Oh, yes.
Before we move on.
Yeah. Well, the fufu aspect. Remember when it was trending? When on it, I don't know whether it was on TikTok it appeared first.
Yeah. Yes, it was TikTok.
People were just eating fufu and they were like, "Oh, you gotta scoop it, you gotta do this." I'm like, you people
don't eat the fufu.
I was like, by the time they did all those videos, because they must have done like 3 takes. It must have been cold by the time they were eating it. Oh, so I have this method of warming my fufu. You know what I do now?
What?
So you know fufu lasts a long time.
Yeah, it does.
So as long as it's still wrapped in the nylon. I put it in the microwave and I put a little water in the bowl and I cover it. So I cover it and so the steam, everything enters.
You should try putting it
in another nylon. Tell you something.
Now turn it again.
It just reminded me of something very interesting. I remember my grandma, God rest her soul. one of those times she visited Nigeria, Lagos, actually.
Nigeria, wow.
Lagos.
International
my mom was out of the country, and it was just both of us at home. And so she made, you know, when they come visit, they always bring this big sack of
everything they think you need.
So one of those times she told me to make fufu for her.
And
then I was still learning how to, you know, do all this cleaning. And so it wasn't thick enough. And so when I serve it, she always say, Amen. You don't need, you're supposed to make, this is supposed to be thick. It's supposed to be thick, supposed to have energy. That when you eat it, you have energy.
Were you still small? Were you as small?
No, I think I was in a university.
No, I mean like you had this small stature.
Yes, and she's also
very
smallish. She's also very smallish. And I'm like, Grandma, you don't need to eat. Come on, like you're not in the village. That kind of stuff every morning. And then she wants it in the morning.
Oh wow!
And then she wants to eat like 6 eggs.
Goodness me.
No, but yes, back to our conversation.
My
chest was tight. It was doing me gum.
Because I wasn't able to land though.
Land.
No.
On the floor.
So I know it is a sensitive thing. But I
we'll still have to come back again.
Yes, we have to come back. Why talk about? Okay, there's social media. We'll come back to social media.
But let's just find out some facts, like what it is Sunday.
And now to our global coverage of the coronavirus pandemic as we take the news update. In Lagos, the state government has said it's received doses of Oxford-ASTRAZENECA vaccines from the federal government. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu made this known while speaking at the 2021 International Women's Day celebration organized by the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Mr. Sanwo-Olu said the state government received the vaccines at 4 a.m., noting that the vaccines had been kept in a safe place. The incident commander also implored Lagosians to continue to observe all COVID-19 protocols.
I want to encourage, like the First Lady said, all of us to continue to observe all of the non-pharmaceutical protocols of the COVID-19. As yes, we have flattened it, but it's still very much with us. And I want to use this opportunity to announce that at about 4 a.m. today, Lagos State received our own consignment of the vaccine. And so it's in our custody. And so we're working out a clear strategy with the federal government, the national parliament.
Just like Lagos, the ONDO state government has also received doses of the Oxford-ASTRAZENECA COVID-19 vaccines from the federal government. The vaccine was delivered yesterday through KWARA Airport and received by officials of the ONDO State Primary Healthcare Development Agency on behalf of the state governor. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu is expected to flag off the vaccination today in Akure, the state capital. The same story goes for KWARA State, where the vaccine arrived. The Executive Secretary of the State Primary Healthcare Services, Dr. Nuzurat Elelu, received the consignment moments ago on behalf of the state government. The Ilorin International Airport was where it was received. She disclosed that Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak was expected to flag off the vaccination distribution, while frontline workers will be given priority during the vaccination. In the meantime, Borno state government has also taken delivery of the doses of Oxford-ASTRAZENECA COVID-19 vaccine from the federal government. The consignment arrived Maiduguri International Airport around 9 p.m. yesterday, and the state deputy governor, Umar Usman Kadafur, alongside the acting commissioner of health, the state director of primary health care services, and officials of the WHO, received the vaccine. According to the state deputy governor, the state received 75,510 doses of the vaccine. He notes that the state government is expected to flag off the vaccination soon.
Yeah. I won't lie to you. That's the only song I know how to make really well.
Are you serious? Really? I don't know how to make it.
I love it.
Oh, mommy, I only know how to warm it.
I know how to eat
but
it.
I know it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So the fact that I have to think about all the energy involved, I'm like, I might not be eating that fufu after because I'll be too exhausted. I'll probably just go and sleep first. But yeah, nice one. It looked very sumptuous in that music video.
Yeah,
I
was so happy. I mean, carry our food.
Anyways,
International.
We have to check out what's happening on social media. Now, we did put out a post earlier on. It says here, women supporting women. Is this a myth or a fact? Tell us your experience or your support, whether it's a myth or fact. And I'm starting with Facebook here. And I have a comment that is from Afolabi Oluwole Nath. Now it says, the greatest myth, women don't ever support no woman. They're always bitter, in competition, unhealthy rivalry, ... So,
coming from a man.
well, okay, let's
They're not always bitter. They're not always bitter. And I think it goes far back to the grassroots, which is the family, the foundation. How did your mother bring you up? Did she bring you up to see the next woman as a competition, or did she bring you up to see the next woman as a sister, someone you should support?
Are you blaming the mother response completely?
Not completely, but I'm saying we could start from the grassroots level. How did you know, growing up, if you grew up seeing the next person as the next girl as your competition, you will grow up with that mindset, and that's why you come up. That's why we come up with the unlearning and relearning, which means there's still room for you to know better. But if you don't have any foundation at all, and then you start to see someone as a competition, there's somewhere you would have gotten this experience from. Something in your society would have made you learn that attitude.
Anyway, I'm curious to see more comments on Twitter. I think
I'm going to switch to Twitter now. And we put out the same post. Yeah, we have here, same post. Women supporting women. Is this a myth or a fact? Tell us what you think. Now, this is also another guy, I think.
This is a Rema.
Kun Fire Kun. It says, randomly pick 30 female housemates. Ask them to give an account of how their madam treats them and promise to keep them anonymous.
That'll be a telenovela.
Exactly.
That'll be a show.
So I'm going to jump on this because I was told by, other women who had helps before and nannies, watch them more. They'll take your jewelry. They'll do this. They'll be giving your husband eye. I'm like, that was what other women were telling me to look out for. But I had this whole mindset of having them as younger sisters.
Okay.
Which is, it's delicate. It's a double-edged sword, because when you're too soft on them, they tend to, slack off, take you for granted. But then I remember giving advice to quite a few of them, They don't listen, but hey, there was a particular one who just turned 19, said she wanted to go and get married, and she was the only earner. She was the only one earning.
In her family?
No, she was the only one earning, not only for her family, but the guy wasn't earning anything.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just very, very delicate.
So let's take more comments. Let's see what other people
let's take this one. It says here, Rahim Adenike 10. It says it should have been, but in this side of the world of ours, reverse is the case. Your fellow woman irritates you the most. Your fellow woman cheats on you with your man. Your fellow woman talks ill, and you still call themselves your friends.
All right, let's take more. Yeah.
Some more, exactly.
Interesting comments.
At Abimbola Ashade says, my choose to challenge. Exactly. Most women are culturally biased and allow their prejudice get in the way of true judgment of situations. This has led to what I call women are the major problems of women. If we support each other unrelentingly, we would get unprecedented results. Okay. At Ajibola 0804 says, myth. We wouldn't have second, third wives and side chicks if women truly support women. My opinion, and fully entitled to it.
You are.
We have next? At Sage and T-Bog. I think it's becoming a fact. Yes. Before this awareness, women used to be the enemy of fellow women. They'd pull each other down compared to their male counterparts. But the stereotype is changing slowly but surely.
Okay.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Amen.
Next up.
Let's see.
What's the next comment?
At Fella Day for You, it says, it should be a fact, but majority of them are toxic.
Word.
Let's see. At It's Ade Rose says, myth, please.
Yes, next.
At Yomide says, myth. ... And Jeremiah, or rather Jeremiah says, Jeremiah says, facts.
Okay.
So,
is that all we have?
Yeah, that's all we have for now. I'll try and refresh and see if more have come in. But
so we actually checked Facebook earlier on, and we had only one comment. And so please, if you have more comments, bring them in. And of course, I think we'd also like people to also share their experiences as well. So if you feel that it's a myth, we'd also like you to share your experience. Have you experienced it? If you think it's a fact, share your experience where a fellow woman had supported you. That's if you're a woman. It would be nice to hear this, people sharing their thoughts and experiences as well. All right, fantastic. So let's not also forget that there's physical support, there's emotional support, there's mental support,
there's financial support,
Instagram support,
reposting business. Don't repost my business. Buy my items. That's the support.
Yeah, and there's financial support. So
put your money where your mouth is if you're supporting a woman. Will you pay for another woman to start a business? Very important question.
Yeah. So, all right, at this point, we'll have to go on a quick break now. Stay with us. There's still more.
Welcome back. Now, in the spirit of International Women's Day, or Women's Week, Women's Month, Women's Year, we've been talking to women in different fields.
Yeah.
On Monday, we had someone in education. Yesterday, we had someone in finance. And today, we're talking tech. Joining us virtually for a discussion on women and their participation in the tech industry is founder CyberSafe Foundation, Confidence Stavely.
I love her name. Hi, Confidence. Good morning.
Hi, thank you.
I must say, you have this natural beauty on fleek.
Yes, so.
Happy International Women's Day and Week.
Thank you. I wish you the same.
It is very interesting to see a woman in the tech space, and you have a foundation. Tell us about it. What inspired you to have a foundation in tech?
Okay, basically, I wanted to solve a problem, and what my foundation does is facilitate pockets of changes to make the internet safer for everyone that's resident in Nigeria. And we're currently working on an expansion in other parts of Africa as well. So I was inspired to fill the gap around things like awareness. I'm currently also working on initiatives that address gender equity in our sector. I'm also working on different initiatives that also try to close the skills gap in cybersecurity as well. So all of these problems were, my inspiration for setting up this foundation.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us once again, Confidence. I have to ask, being a woman in a vast majority of, in a male space, when it comes to tech, how were you able to overcome certain obstacles? So there is that whole mindset that, the tech space is not very glamorous, it's not very feminine. How were you able to overcome all that?
Okay, I'll say for me, it was just my love for all of the challenges that came with tech. I mean, every day you're learning something new. For me, that was feeding into, like I say, my adrenaline and my restlessness. I always want to learn. I want to be challenged. I don't want to be comfortable. And I think those were some of the things that endeared me to tech, because it's fast-paced. You have to keep moving. You could see problems being solved through your hands. I don't know. For me, that was very exciting. And so up until when I got to mid-level of my career, I didn't exactly feel like there was something off or something weird about not having so many females. But later on, I discovered that maybe some of the things that were problems would have pulled me down were the reasons I just kept going. And I think, although you'll find women like me, that won't necessarily recognize the problems until much later, I believe that we could get more intentional about getting more women in and helping them see that it's possible to actually have a thriving and very growing career in in STEM as a whole. I think that's where the place of things like role models, the place of mentorship, the place of even being able to visualize other women in those roles comes into play. I mean, since I started growing and became, top in my field, I noticed that a lot of women reach out and say, oh, I admire you, and I'm inspired to be in cybersecurity. I get this quite a lot. I get personal messages that people have made decisions because they could see me taking up those roles. So that is where the place of mentorship, the place of communities of women doing amazing things in tech actually comes in. We need to see more women taking up these opportunities and serve as inspiration for other women to come in.
Okay, now talking about women being aware of tech and women going into tech. Now, as someone who has a foundation, now there are ladies out there watching now, and they've developed interest. Now, how do you advise them to take steps? Where do you advise them to start from? So women that are in other fields, but as time has progressed, they've seen themselves picking interest. So now, at this point in their lives and their careers, how do you advise them to transition to STEM?
Okay, first I'll say analyze where you are currently, because people are at different levels. So for example, someone could already have gotten to a particular level of, let's say, digital literacy, or they've gone past digital literacy, basic digital literacy, and they have certain skills that can be, will I say, merged with some other skills in tech to make a transition. So find out where you are at the moment. Then the second step would be find out like a connection between where you are and where you desire to be. You need to be able to know what that journey looks like. And you can know that from, for example, looking at job opportunities that are available for for roles that you like, and see what's required to get to that place. You can also do that using, say, reaching out to people, leveraging LinkedIn, reaching out to people to find out how you can, find that trajectory, because it's finding that path. So a lot of women do not know how to move from point A to point B. And there are also lots of opportunities right now, thanks to all of what has been happening around women and women in tech and all of the campaigns that have been happening. There are a lot of programs available now to help women transition. I mean, recently I spoke at an event by Microsoft that literally was trying to bring millions of women into tech, and this was across 6 different countries. So I spoke to women across these 6 different countries, and those programs are existing to help women and hold them into tech. So if you want to move into tech, you're talking about it and you're thinking about it at the best possible time. Google programs that can help you. Just use Google and check for programs that can help you. Reach out to people, women, of course, on LinkedIn, or even men. But the truth is, women have become more open. I am available to, answer your questions. I'm on LinkedIn as well. Find out from people how to connect where you are, because the skills you currently have in your role or where you are at the moment are also relevant when combined with tech. So it's finding that, doing like a skills gap or a gap assessment of yourself from where you are to where you want to be, or finding where you want to be, usually is just the point that moves the needle.
All right, Confidence. So I have a question for you. I want to sort of compare a career in STEM or in tech with other careers out there. In terms of women who have families, do you think it's relatively easier to have a career in tech or STEM than, let's say, going into medicine or some other area?
Truth is, it's not relatively easier, but like I said earlier, the tools have recently become way more and more available to you. I mean, currently you can be self-taught even in programming. You have YouTube to learn from, so it's becoming easier to gain the skills required. And once you can prove yourself to be skilled, you can easily access a role of your choice. So it's important that we concentrate on gaining those skills, and those skills have increasingly become available. You don't need to try to get into university now, for example, to get into tech. All you need to do is get some sort of certification, get some learning, teach yourself a skill, show that you can do that thing, maybe by taking on a project of your own, because that's what I tell people. The easiest way you can show competence is to show something you have done. So challenge yourself into picking up those skills by yourself, if possible. And if you don't have that opportunity, challenge yourself to find somebody who can guide you, or challenge yourself to also, find a way to pay for learnings or academies you can learn from, and then gain those skills and prove that you have those skills by taking on the personal project, and then put word out there. We are not so good at selling ourselves as women. We need to get better. Tell the world what you can do, and the world will actually take you for that. That's the truth. So yeah, it's become increasingly easier to get into tech if you can take the steps I have just shared.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Confidence, for talking to us this morning. And
I want to go to STEM.
Yeah, and she's as confident as her name. Like, look at the passion she's using to talk about her field. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Happy International Women's Day. Have a fantastic week.
And you too. Have a blast.
Thank you so much. Now, as always, our kitchen has been a buzzing, and in all her glory, has been standing by with the chef to show us what's been prepared.
Thank you very much, Titi. That was quite an interesting conversation. It's good to know that we have female representation in different industries, even in the male-dominated ones. All right, now here in the kitchen with me this morning is Chef Blossom, and breakfast is ready. Yes.
Let's not let have all the fun.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are joining me.
Chef Blossom, woo! At least I was in the beginning. I didn't miss too much. So what we stopped where you were putting when you put the coconut milk. Okay. So how did you do the rest of the preparation?
So I put in the coconut milk lastly and added water to cook the rice. Enough to cook the rice. Then I covered with my foil to steam properly. And then I made the veggies on a separate pan. With vegetable oil. Like I said, you could like to use coconut oil. It's your preference. Vegetable oil, carrots, sweet corn, the green pepper. And then I'll shredded fried chicken. With soy sauce. Then
so now I want to have a quick question. Now, growing up, my grandma used to use nylon when she's making her food, and now I've seen people moving to foil. So what makes foil better than the nylon?
Nylon has some, I think we talked about it the other time. Nylon has some chemicals that is not really healthy to the body. So foil is just what goes for food.
What goes for food. All right. Thank you, Chef Blossom.
Sorry about that. Now, I have to say...
shading me.
No, now. But I am actually so interested in tasting this food. So, who's going to do the honors?
You just said you're interested in tasting the food. I said
who's going to do the honors?
So let's have you tell us. Now, is the coconut that you're going to rate? Well, because we all know Chef Blossom's food is amazing. But you're going to rate the how strong the coconut milk, the coconut taste is in the food.
All right.
And so this is younger tasting it. Take a full spoon. Ooh la la. Tastes great.
Delicious. I got the coconut.
You got the coconut.
It hit
chop knuckle.
It hit me. It entered.
All right.
I love it. Really nice. So, while I'm doing this, please.
Wow. CCTV being so
women supporting women. Support me.
I'm supporting you. It's been such an amazing show. Thank you so much, Chef Blossom. I'm sure we all have learned more than a thing or two. There's so much we've learned on the show. If you came late, guess what? You can binge watch on our YouTube channel, TVT Entertainment. We are going to be back here tomorrow, same time, 7 a.m. to 8:45. Guess what? Your view is next. Have a fantastic day. Girls!